Hello?
Oh.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? More! More! Oh. All right, folks. Hello, folks. How are you today? I'm just here with you. How are you? Anybody in there?
Yeah, we're here. I didn't hear.
Hello.
I was waiting for the intro, but Andy's. Well,
I'm sorry.
We can hear him. Can you hear me, Andy?
I can hear you. I just in a lost world. I'm inside some sort of weird time and space thing. It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
All right, well, let me take myself out of solo mode here. There you are. You're just a circle with a I don't know what that is in the middle.
Neither do I. I'm trying to figure out what it was. Some sort of.
You're either a nipple with an odd tattoo or.
Well, I was trying to edit my avatar somehow, and then.
That happened.
It happened. It brought this thing in. So. Let me try and find another avatar here. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
All right.
We just can't see you. So anyway,
I'm lost in this world here.
Are you still with us in country?
Well, it's like that Twilight Zone episode where it's a sort of place where I can reach through, but to another Twilight Zone era. So I think I'm basically stuck inside a wall somewhere.
Huh. Now, are you on the same machine you were on last week or 2 weeks ago? I guess it would have been.
Yeah, this is the same machine, but it says I have no camera, but the camera must have been a pathway to a time tunnel, what I'm now stuck in. I cannot get out. That or I just simply can't figure out. I'm not as good of a tech as you guys are,
Oh, please. Unqualified tech advisor on my banner there says it all. I am not, just as you are powered by pizza, I am the unqualified tech advisor. Anyway, let's get I can't find, I'm gonna bring Jason out here to stall for time because I cannot find Oh, wait a minute. There's another Andy. I got two Andys here. Hold on.
That's me. I made a mistake. 1 second.
But better lose one because we're getting an echo.
I know. It's my fault.
Oh, there we go. Now we're down to one. We're down to one Andy now. Although the other one vibrated. At least we had some.
Well, there was that.
I'm telling you, I'm inside a wall somewhere.
As I mentioned to Mark, I had not wished you into the cornfield yet, but
Spot. Spot. I'm outside the castle, Spot. Please, I've got to beam me in. I've lost.
Hey, how many times during Tholian Web when Kirk is out there and they can see him on the view screen and you're saying energize, okay, energize, and they're just sitting there, they're just waiting. They're just going through the inner space. The Tholians are attacking, and yet Kirk is standing there doing that thing, with the black screen right behind him.
Yeah.
And then Bones is waiting for him, of course, in the transporter room with the Triox compound. And who doesn't want a Triox compound? I know I do, especially after you've been lost in inner space for a couple hours, right?
I know. I think I'm in the other world right now. I'm going to reverse myself out of the studio and try and transport myself back in. So I will see you on the other side.
Well, for Mark, I think we're going to have to buy him, seriously, his very own laptop for the other half of the show. Not one connected with my account, but just I can find a pretty decent Mac,
What's going on with the one Sam had? I brought that back.
I have that. I've been using it for my OnlyFans. Do you want me to turn it on now?
No. We don't need Andy to see that.
I'm gonna go to the world.
Actually, that actually might not be a bad idea, though. because although I have to admit, I was like, my regular computer, if you guys, ever were to see my is an old Hewlett Packard that one has to shovel coal into to get it to go. I mean, it's a bit dated.
That
but
wasn't the worst Packard computer. That Packard Bell was the worst computer ever
oh
built.
yeah.
Remember those?
Yes, I do, from back in the day and whatnot. And
The original Dells that Michael Dell built in his garage were better than anything they did. So.
oh yeah. Well, there is a term that has become popular in modern parlance. It is perhaps a bit blue, but we're not entirely a family show, called enshittification.
You know what? If my son was just here a moment, that's a term he uses, being of the generation.
Which goes to show you that he is hip with it and now, just as I am.
I think he said that about you, Jason. I think
no doubt he did. I'm sure there were other things he said as well, but we'll write those down on small pieces of paper and read them later on. But yeah, but basically it's just how the modern tech oligarchy is just really dumbing everything down and expecting us to sit on our hind legs like trained seals, although seals don't have hind legs, whatever, bad metaphor, and clap and applaud while they throw sardines our way. And even though I'm an ardent dyed-in-the-wool capitalist, I did recently see a commie meme that made a lot of sense. It said the world is quickly becoming a place, a resort for 500 rich people, with the rest of us serving as their staff. And
it's what it feels like.
It's kind of hard to refute. I mean, I'd like to say different. I really would, but
well, here's what we have to look forward to.
I'm waiting.
None of them live more than 80 to 90 years like the rest of us. You know what I mean? No. It's not like it's
right
not
around the
like,
corner.
And I like Sammy Davis Jr.'s old line about how they told him if you quit smoking, you can cut 10 to 20 years off your life. He goes, yeah, but those are the mumbling and drooling years.
Those are mumbling and drooling years. Oh,
well,
I don't know.
Sammy would know. I mean, oh dear. Hey, listen, I know we don't usually do book reviews on this channel. This is Welcome to Book Review with Mark Sweetman.
We're doing books, folks. We're doing books.
What book are you reading?
I have just recently finished a book by Andrew Ross Sorkin. I don't know if he's related to Aaron Sorkin or not, but
yeah, but, I've seen him on doing the talk show circuit in the last couple of months.
Well, he has a book. It came out about last year, but I would highly recommend this. It's called 1929. It's about the crash of 29, and it is breezy without being glib. It's historical without being leaden. It's not written for academics. It discusses economics, but you don't need a master's degree in economics from the University of Chicago. And it certainly relates that while history may not necessarily repeat itself, it certainly does rhyme. And given that his previous book was about the crash of 2008, you can kind of see that. But he does really bring about a lot of figures in historical realities that were in play a little more than about 100 years ago now. And anyone who reads this kind of can look around and go, wow, this is kind of scary, because we certainly live in a modern economic circumstance that does seem a bit familiar. And again, it's very well written. It's a page turner. So for those of you who might possibly be interested, and bear in mind, I am the evil, horned right winger on the show. So
I'm in a book club that grew out of my men's Bible study at church.
Right.
But the book club went in a different direction than the Bible. So we lost it. We lost all but 3 of us from the Bible study, and we've taken on some other people. We have a former Secret Service agent in Washington, D.C.
All right.
Wow.
We got a seminarian student in Chicago, Illinois.
All right.
We've got a Notre Dame professor at their campus in Beirut. Did you know Notre Dame University has a campus in Beirut?
Wow.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
It's a hell of an extension in the
yeah, exactly. You don't want to have 2 classes in Chicago and then 3 in Beirut, because especially if it's like a Tuesday, Wednesday, the commute really going to be tough.
Well, you can't get your mother to wash your clothes easily. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, you can in Beirut. You just pay a street person to do it, but never mind that.
Yeah, I guess there had to be a reason to open up a campus in Beirut for Notre Dame.
Beirut, Lebanon used to be a majority Christian country.
Oh, we know that. I mean, most of the Lebanese I knew growing up in my Catholic school.
Yeah, Maronite Christian.
Yep, yep. And the Chaldeans in northern Iraq.
Yes,
they're Christians,
right?
And the group. I can't trying to think of there's a group in Egypt of
Coptic Christians.
Coptic Christians in Egypt. Yep. So. Yeah, and you know what? And we'd know a lot more about all of these groups if they hadn't burned down the library in Alexandria.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Talk about trying to cover up that whole library card kind of Your
back in 80 years. They burned it down.
That was before the printing press, so they weren't burning books gatherings; they were burning scrolls gatherings.
Absolutely, So this esteemed book club that you're with, you haven't swerved from the Bible to Anton LaVey, have you?
Actually, what we just finished John Fugelsang's the separation of church and hate.
Interesting.
And it's his argument, although he doesn't claim to be a theologian or even a Christian. In fact, he always talks about Christianity as being his parents' religion. So right. I think he's taken a agnostic track, but he grew up in enough Catholic schools and knows enough Christian and Jewish scholars that he was able to write this thing. And basically it says, here is everything the Christian nationalists get wrong about Jesus and the Bible.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun read. One, he's a comic, so that
helps.
That made it easy to read. But essentially, he's saying he takes a left stance, but doesn't argue from the left. He argues from within the Christian nationalist Protestant evangelicalism, which I thought. Basically saying, oh, here's what you say, here's what you do, type of thing.
Well, of course, back in the day, that would have got them burned at the stake, but we're not as traditional as we once were.
Yeah, now we don't burn them at the stake; we burn them in social media.
Yeah. Well, that's almost exactly the same, except for the pile of ashes. Oh, by the way, Mark, the theme is still running very quietly in the background.
Is it really?
Yeah, not that I mind. Actually, sounds kind of good, but
well, let me see if I can find it. What did I do with it?
Huh.
Hold on. Okay. I'm looking for. Oh, I see. It is very faint. That's as low as I can go without. That's as low as I can go without turning it off. I guess I forgot to turn it off. Well, there we go.
All right.
Huh.
The thing is, though, when one wraps their political philosophy with their religion, it usually imbues a sort of certainty that allows you to get away with all manner and sort of cruelty. Shall we remember that, members of the KKK thought themselves being very pious? And
the twisting that can go on to make in other words, and this is what the right and the fundamentalists always accuse the liberal churches of doing. They're saying, oh, you find what you want to find in the gospel and bend it towards your way. Well, that's just what they're doing on the right.
Yeah.
Well,
again, I can't argue against that because it's true.
The whole thing about the right is that the fundamentalists is that the literal interpretation of the Bible is the right interpretation. But it's like, you're interpreting the Bible in that way. So you're accessing interpretation by your own interpretation. You're interpreting the Bible. So it means anybody can interpret the Bible.
Well, the thing is, both of you are heretics, and I'm sending a truth squad to your house to see to it that you are interned at a joy camp.
I'm going to read the Gnostic Bible. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Well, you used to do that bit that Emo Phillips did about the was it the Lutheran Church, the various separations?
Oh, that was my favorite joke. That's my favorite joke.
It's a great joke.
He finds a guy on the bridge. He's about to jump off, and he goes, Don't jump, buddy. You've got a whole life to live. Don't do it. Don't do it. Wait, you've got all these things to live for. What? What's your name? Abe. Well, Abe, where do you live? I live over in Ipsy. I live there too. Abe, what street do you live on? I live on Cornell. I live there too. What house are you on? I'm on the house in the corner. Great. What church do you go to? I go to the Lutheran church. I push him off.
Heretic. God, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love him. My other favorite one is, one day, my folks always told me, never go near the cellar door. I was at home alone, and my folks were out of the town, and I decided to go to the cellar door. I creeped up to the cellar door, and then I opened it. And there was all these wonderful things. There was birds and grass and trees. I've never seen these before. Okay. The answer, he lived in the cellar. Okay.
No,
I
okay.
got you.
He wouldn't let him out of the cellar.
Well, do you remember the
here's my favorite. Here's my favorite. Here's my favorite Jesus joke, and I'm sure I'll do time for this one because I really like it. They're at the Last Supper, and Jesus turns and he says, "This evening, one of my chosen 12 will betray me." And Peter says, "Is it I, Lord? Is it I?" "Peter, it is not you. But one of the other 11 tonight will betray me." And James says, "Lord, is it I? Is it I who will betray you?" "Certainly not I." He goes, "James, it is not you who will betray me, but one of the other 10 will betray me." And John says, "Is it I, Lord? Is it I?" "John, it is not you, but one of you tonight will betray me." And Judas says, "Is it I, Lord? Is it I?" And Jesus goes, "Is it I, Lord? Is it I?"
That's a good one.
That is my favorite Jesus joke.
Another one of from the Emo Phillips collection. He goes, "I was told to think of my body as a temple. I think of it more as a nicely kept Lutheran recreation center." And someone said he was going to mop the floor with my face, and I said, "What? It's going to be hard to get in the corners with that." But again, you can know more about Emo than I do. I mean, was he always a clean comic? Because I don't remember him using other language.
No, he was absolutely clean.
Yeah.
Wow. I used to work when he and Judy Tenuta were a couple. I used to work with them quite a bit. God. I mean, I'm talking. Because I moved out to LA in 86, and I think she moved out like 83 or 84. So I'm talking about 79 through 82.
Right.
When I was first starting, I would get to work with, and it was great working with them because they were their opinion was, if I'm killing, keep going.
Yeah.
Just shorten up the time we have to do.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of headliners like, "Oh, you're cutting into my time. You're cutting into my time." They were like, "Oh, great, we got somebody who can do some of the time for us, can carry some of the load for us." You know.
Got it.
Well, I remember.
So I would get a Judy Tenuta, Emo Phillips crowd, and that was half the battle right there. I mean, those people paid good money to laugh, and they knew they were going to laugh, and they were good at Judy and Emo were good about bringing up their opening acts. So in other words, everybody came to see them.
Right.
So they would come out. George Carlin did this a lot too. They would come out and introduce the opening act. And that was sort of like the endorsement that you got from George Carlin or Judy Tenuta or other people I worked with, Carol Leifer and Elaine Boozler and Rich Jenny, these people that would come introduce you to their audience. I thought Bob Saget used to do that when I worked with him. I thought that was great.
Well, Judy's style, because as I remember, God rest her soul, that she was baughty, but she wasn't foul-mouthed. If you know what I mean.
Absolutely not.
She was definitely
called men pigs.
Back in the day, we're talking about back in the day, back before I started headlining, when I was still coming up, there were maybe 5 comics that were considered dirty, and they, put X-rated in the paper,
Right.
Don't bring your mom, don't bring your grandma type of type of comics. Jack Marion, Bobby Schimmel.
Schimmel. Oh yeah.
Fox. I'm trying to think of his first name from San Francisco.
Not Red.
John Fox. John Fox from San Francisco. Otto, the guy who was the ventriloquist.
With the puppet. Yeah, Otto and George or something.
George and Otto. Yeah, George and
oh
Otto.
my God, those two. Yeah, I mean, even I was after a while like, oh my God, turn it. Oh, stop.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of who and Thea Fadal from New Orleans.
Yes.
She got an ABC sitcom at one point. Didn't make it a whole season, but I mean, at least, and you say when somebody gets a sitcom, first of all, they've probably paid them $100,000 development deal, which back in the 80s was, money you could retire on.
Oh,
but Steve Bluestein, who I barely know him. But I've worked with him, but he doesn't remember me. But he knows me now. But through other people, convincing him that he knows me. But he was Lola Falana's opening act for like 30 years.
Wow,
nice.
Well, that you can retire on that. That's a lot. That's Vegas money. That's
how seriously, how clean do you have to be when you're like Lola Falana's or some of these other? Are they like squeaky clean or?
Here's the best example of how to do the show was probably Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Leno, had gone into cities where he was working and would always schmooze with the NBC affiliates. That's pretty much how he got the job over Letterman, because Carson wanted Letterman.
Right.
And Leno got it because the affiliates wanted Leno.
Yeah.
And Leno did an hour-long show. So if you were used to having the 15-minute opener, the 30-minute middle act, and the 45-minute headliner, well, the middle and the opener are going to have to cut their time because Jay's going to do an hour.
Right.
And Jay very carefully timed his act so that it was only like the last 6 or 7 minutes was the really raw stuff. Right. And really, when you consider it compared to some of the stuff you've seen, it wasn't that raw. But it was stuff at that time he couldn't do on television. Today, he could probably do it. But back then, it was stuff he couldn't do on television. And he said, that's what they came here for. They've seen me do all this stuff on television. But they see me do all my greatest hits in the first 45 minutes. And then I zing them with stuff they're never going to see on television. They love that. No, George Miller. Do you remember George Miller? He was one of Letterman's favorites. So even though a lot of comics didn't think he was that funny, he had a nice career. He headlined the Castle quite a bit because he was a draw because he did like about 28 Lettermans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had this. His marker was put the checks out 19 minutes before you want me to get off.
Right.
If you forget and you don't put them out until 45 minutes in, well, your show is going to be 65 minutes long because I am going to do 19 minutes after the checks are out. And it was, in a way, it was like a master's class because you realize when those checks come out, people aren't really paying attention to the comic.
Right.
So he had to do stuff that was maybe a little bit more physical, maybe a little bit dirtier. It wasn't his cleverest stuff, but it was sort of like got the attention. And he says, and I know there are a lot of people that aren't going to pick up the check and they'll start laughing at stuff because they want to draw the attention away from pushing the check on somebody else or let somebody else pick up the check and things like that. And it was when I talked to him about that, he says, essentially what I wanted those last 5 minutes to be mine. So when the checks come out, I lose the audience for 5 or 6 minutes. And now we've got 15 minutes left, 14 minutes left.
Right.
It takes me about 4 minutes to get them back, and then they're mine for the last 10 minutes.
Right.
So
you want to close with something big, so to speak. Right.
Yeah.
And
all this stuff, and this is what the road does for you. You know what I mean? Because there aren't the same rules in LA. In LA, the show ran continuously. If a table emptied, if people left, the next people in line got that table. They'd clear it off real quick, and then you'd seat, another 4 top or 6 top or 8 top or whatever. And the show would just keep going on. Right. And, part of the job, I was an MC at the Improv, and the MC got paid more than anybody. You were considered that was considered your show. And the only thing that would
did you get a piece of the door or?
No, but the pay was more. If I got four, and there were more than four shows too. I mean, we're talking about they'd start at 6:30 and run till 1:30. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, and you didn't do more than two shows a night, and usually they were separate. So if I started at 6:30, I might not do another show till 11:30 because they didn't want any. But you got to redo your material. And some comics too. Comics would do an early show at the Improv, run over the Comedy Store, do a show there, run over to Igby's, Comedy Magic Club, Ice House. There were a bunch of clubs, Laugh Factory, and so if you had it scheduled right, and you were in with people at certain places. So in other words, after a while, you knew who you were in with. So like, and I could have done all that running around. But I preferred to just stay in one place and and double dip in the one place rather than trying to get 6 shows all around town. That was just too exhausting. Plus, I wanted to see people. I mean, it was like when you're working at home, there really wasn't a lot of pressure. My MC calling card was at the end of the show. I would always do a quick rundown of a punchline from each of the comics after you'd worked with them for years and years.
Right.
You knew which line the crowd was going to remember.
Right.
And so that was a fun way to end the show. And it didn't really end. I'd say, oh, that's my part. That's the part that I'm hosting. Now let's introduce our next host. He's going to bring you a whole brand new show. So stick around if you'd like. Here it is.
Well, I just you and I. Well, obviously you've seen more, but I've been exposed to a fair amount of really bad stand-up, really bad. People who are you know what I mean. Show up, go up, that kind of thing. Who seem to feel that using profanity, and God, I've been guilty of it. I mean, I might get hit by a bolt of lightning for hypocrisy, but it's sort of the easy crutch you go to. Whereas when you're a more professional comedian, you really find a way to sort of like, it might be peppery at times, but you're not leaning on profanity.
I'm going to refer back to Andy because he was doing it back then. I mean, I started, 6 to 7 years before he did. But Andy, didn't it seem like the comics who did the worst back in the day were the ones who thought they were great?
Yeah. It was the ones who thought that swearing was an actual...
Not even swearing. Maybe they didn't swear. If they thought their material was the best. I mean, there was still a lot of humility. I think of Bill Thomas and Tony Hayes and Sheila Kay and Van Gunter and all these really great comics. And the one thing they had in common was they were always trying to improve. Yeah. You didn't go out there and think that. I mean, we had guys like, God rest his soul, he's gone now, but Danny Gray, who wrote a book and never did he ever change his act? No. Never changed his act, never tried to improve upon a joke, never would take a suggestion for a better punchline. Hey, you say this, Danny, but if you said this, every other comic had the humility to be able to say, yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to try that, and comics didn't want to get paid. Nobody said you're doing my act. It's sort of like you watched everybody according to what their persona was. Yeah. Sheila Kay was the Jewish grandmother that was only in her 20s, that type of thing. That was her. Now she was probably about the dirtiest one among us all.
Yeah.
Well, the one time you brought in Norm Stoltz, so again, put on an absolute clinic. It was a wonderful experience because we were able to see. I
saw his last show before he passed away.
Well,
what an honor that was.
Well, of course, at Unclub, and there's like 20 of us, and we're all kind of gathered around. And if you watch it, you really, but again, peppery, but not profane. Yeah. I mean, he was able to use, various aspects of sort of like, tension building and whatnot to draw you in and get the joke to pay off. Which is always
that was after years too. When he first started, and Andy will tell you this too. He was more of a storyteller than a joke teller. He became more of a joke teller as time went on.
Well, that one old guy, remember, that was showing up, who'd tell the old stories about various Greek gods and myths.
Oh, I love that guy. He was our brother Timothy.
Timothy, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I
wonder if he can't still be around. I mean, that was what.
Well, he was a history professor, wasn't he? I thought he was like a professor.
Maybe he was, but he would every once in a while he'd get into what it was like to go through adolescence as an intellect, and I thought this stuff is so good.
one of the the only time I zinged him once, not real heavy, but I got one laugh, and that was yours, Mark, and I was so proud of it when I thanked animatronic George Perot. and of course, Mark is the only one who knew.
The only one in the room that got the joke.
One in the room who got the joke.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice to have
Hello.
one. Hi.
Hi.
Nice. Did you send me the poem?
Hours ago.
Ah.
I couldn't find it. Did you text it or email it?
I emailed it. I hope I emailed it because I don't have my laptop.
Oh no.
Hold on. Oh, you know what? I bet it's the one that says tonight's link.
Okay.
Yeah, I replied to tonight's link and sent the poem.
All
You
right.
haven't done it yet?
We haven't done it yet. You want to do it?
The show's hasn't started
Well,
yet.
let me find it
I
first.
know it's this week's poem because it starts off with the two words Chuck Norris, so that can't be last week's poem.
You know, I didn't want to put plane crash and all that stuff. I don't know.
A nice thing.
Yeah, you didn't want us to do plane crash, but you do have the administration in there. So.
Did I not hit send?
No, it's here. I can see it. You did send it. You sent it at 12 something. 12:08.
I found it. Okay.
Oh, you sent it to Andy too.
Yeah,
all right. I'll do the poem. You ready?
All right.
Ready.
And
Ladies and gentlemen.
We'll do the honor of keeping ourselves laughing at you on the screen. So
This is the amazing Miss Susan, our poetess.
Chuck Norris left this life this week on March 19. If you like martial arts, his movies should be seen. Iran executed 19-year-old wrestling star after protest. Do you care? Amnesty International weighed in and said the trial was grossly unfair. Robert Mueller died, and dear leader Trump celebrated. His dancing on graves of vets should not be overrated. It's unpresidential, and geez, this is highly embarrassing. Having Trump for a leader, now facepalm is a common thing. But everything is not bad. Right here is one good thing. The vernal equinox has passed. Dear friend, it is now spring.
Yeah, and that's our poetess, Susan.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Susan.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
All right, Chuck Norris.
Chuck.
I think he probably became more famous with his memes that he didn't write, obviously, but all the Chuck Norris jokes. I saw a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram were soliciting for Chuck Norris jokes.
Well, do you remember? I still can remember was it Enter the Dragon or one of those really awful early martial arts films where
I think it was Return to the Dragon or Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, where a young Chuck, he was probably in his mid-40s, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Which Bruce Lee film did Chuck Norris appear in? We're going to find out right now.
I know he was against Bruce Lee in one of them.
Bruce Lee, yeah.
He was in one Bruce Lee film, The Way of the Dragon, also known as Return of the Dragon in the U.S.
Was that his first film?
Thank you.
1972. It was his very first.
It's got to be.
He was one of the stunt trainers, I guess, on some of these Bruce Lee films. And Bruce Lee said you should be in the films.
I think Bruce Lee asked him to do that scene. And he said, do I have to lose? And he was like, it's my film. Yes, of course.
Yes, you have to lose.
Do I have to lose? Yeah.
That's kind of.
But they choreographed it, so he got in some of those great roundhouse kicks and things. And
you only get to win if we cast Jackie Chan. Yeah.
Jackie Chan. One shot.
Well,
get the shot. Okay.
Well, Stallone waited to his second movie to win, but then again, maybe Stallone was still hanging out in the Swiss boarding school that he was dodging the draft in. So later on he could play Rambo, the Vietnam veteran. Going back to save all the Vietnam vets, and it's like, well, Sly, perhaps maybe they wouldn't have been left behind if you hadn't been hanging out with the girls up there in the Alps when the nation was calling. Just saying,
What year was he up for the draft?
Late 60s. when the draft was going big time. He got a deferment, and I can't look. Let's be fair. Lots of people got deferments.
How did Sylvester
Well,
Stallone?
if he was in college, yeah, he get a deferment. Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? The war was over by the time I was of age.
Which led to him classified as unfit.
Did you get to sign? Did you get to sign your draft?
No,
You know what?
that
The draft board classified him as 4F. So
yeah, it's unfit. But so does Rush Limbaugh got a pass on that too, right? So I mean, there were plenty of people. Dick Cheney, another one. Remember big old war hawk Dick Cheney? I mean, when it came to
you mean Kamala Harris endorser Dick Cheney? You know that
that would be the one. Well, I mean, Dick. I mean, he knew how to hunt down the wild turkey, and after shooting,
as long as there wasn't a friend's face in the way.
Well, and then making his friend apologize.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure those are the type of stories you tell late. You're in your 80s and you're going, oh yeah. Well, did your victim apologize to you? And
I'm working on a screen treatment of Dick Cheney's brain is alive. Got
it.
We kept Dick Cheney's brain alive. We're
like the version of Hitler's brain. Is that what we're talking
about? And RoboCop and Colossus of New York, starring a very young Ross Martin, in a very convincing robot suit with killer X-ray eyes. And why do you give a giant robot killer X-ray eyes? Well, why wouldn't you? I mean,
have you seen these AI videos that people are making of the television show stars, and it shows them back when they were a star of the show, and then they show them as aging, and they sit next to each other and they hug each other, shake hands. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. There's been some
and there's AI that's not killing people. So
for a change, right?
Well, right now, I'm sure they're all thinking. Here's all the names and addresses and IP addresses of the people I collected who watched my.
So why are we worried about AI killing everybody? Is that because of Stanley Kubrick? I mean, open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Yeah,
Hal.
that's exactly what it is.
And Hal's like, listen, no, I don't think so. Again, no. I think if Andy were to voice Hal as Christopher Walken, and I might say to him, open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I tell you, you know what? Christopher Walken. Of all the Super Bowl,
more cowbells.
Cowbells. You need more cowbells. Get back in there.
I got a fever, and it can only be resolved with
I have a fever.
I tell you what, though, here's to Christopher Walken. I'll give him props for this. Of all the Super Bowl commercials, his is the one that's still playing.
Yeah.
At the end of March, and his is still playing. So.
Yeah.
And if you saw him in Dune, he very creditably plays the Emperor.
Yeah.
And plays it well. It doesn't play it for laughs and whatnot. I mean, it's again. I still remember one of the few movies that I've seen once and will never see again is Deer Hunter. Absolutely brilliant film.
Yeah.
Heartbreakingly. And by the way, Streep establishes herself as one of the preeminent actresses or actors, whatever, of her generation in that movie. Mm-hmm. Her boyfriend is in the movie, and she knows he is dying of cancer. That's just, that John Sale, or not Sale. What was Cale? He played Fredo. Gazelle. Yeah.
That was at the time. At the time of his death, he was Meryl Streep's boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She knew. And there's that scene where she's talking with De Niro. They're walking down the street in this beat down Pennsylvania town, and all the dudes are saying hello to her in a very subtle way. And she's kind of, later on, of course, she gets, Silkwood. I mean, we don't need Sophie's Choice and whatnot. But you look at that movie, she just is not intimidated even in the slightest by De Niro or Walken or anybody else.
Well, she was in a Woody Allen film. What film was she in? She had a very small.
I believe she was in Annie Hall, actually.
Annie Hall. Well, Christopher Walken was in Annie Hall. That's his best movie ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one that calls Alvy Singer into his room. He's visiting. He's visiting his very goyish girlfriend's even more goyish family in Wisconsin, and his Annie Hall's brother calls him into the room, and he tells him about this very bizarre fantasy he has of driving a car straight into the oncoming headlights.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? And so then the very next scene is talking about getting them back to the airport to go back to New York, and Annie Hall goes, "Oh, that's all right. My brother said he'll take us." And then you see Christopher Walken driving. This is one of the best slow swing can I've ever seen. You show Christopher Walken driving with his eyes looking straight ahead, just clutching the steering wheel. Annie Hall kind of like dopily going along, not knowing whatever's going on. And then at the far end of the seat is Woody Allen or Elvis Singer, just shaking in his seat because of this.
That is such a good film. And boy, I haven't seen it for years.
Best film.
No, Meryl Streep might have been in Manhattan. I think
that sounds right.
Yeah, it's like she played the lesbian lover of somebody else.
Yeah, the ex-wife or something like that. And her role in that is very short, but she's so good in it.
Well, Cher as Silkwood's lesbian roommate. And again, Cher was not a professional actress at that time, per se.
I think that's her first film.
I tell you what, she was smart for only doing a few films and picking great ones. That was a very smart move
and
to
picking
make.
the absolutely right ones and the ones that she again. I think she get I know she got a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. I don't know if she won it or not. I know she got it later on for Best Actress. I mean, but again, a smart move on her part.
She was in Moonstruck, right?
Yes, that's a great film.
She was in Moonstruck. She was in Mermaids, which is another one.
Yep.
Is Silkwood directed by I can't remember. Was it Mike Nichols? Or am I wrong?
Mask. She was in Mask too. That was a good one. Mask.
Oh, Mask was good. Yeah.
Mask again.
Silkwood was directed by Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols. Okay, yeah, that guy. When he wasn't being funny.
Silkwood earned 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Director.
Although
we can hear your AI, Mark.
Did any of you guys see Weapons? That film?
Not yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I
want to see that, and I want to see the Ryan Gosling sci-fi one.
Oh yeah. I'm going to see that on Tuesday. I read the book. I enjoyed that book immensely.
Which Ryan got? I mean, I'm a big Gosling fan.
He's a teacher out in outer space, and the sun's gonna die or something. I don't know.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yes.
So the guy who wrote The Martian, Weir, also wrote this one, Hail Mary.
Okay.
It takes place in space. It's gonna be hard to explain it, but it's
he has to
it was a good book.
Make common cause with an alien in order to keep the star alive, so to speak.
Well,
he has amnesia or something, and that's really all I know about it. Just I've seen the interviews and the clips, and it looks like one I'd like to see in the theater.
It seems good. So the basic premise is some biological infection is attacking the sun.
Yes.
It's like it's not biological, but it's basically like it's diminishing the sun so it can't produce.
We'll call it a sun virus, just for lack of a better term.
There we go. So he's going on a one-way trip to find something to help, protect this. And then he meets along the way another interstellar guy that the same thing is happening to their sun. So they're two scientists trying to solve the problem.
Right.
It's really good. It's really good. That's the basic premise.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds somewhat reminiscent of Solaris, but again, not exactly the same. But like the one film, the Sam Rockwell film, which was also sort of on a similar vein.
What, Moon?
Yes, we're directed by David Bowie's son.
Yeah.
Zoe Bowie. I think that was a joke. They didn't really name him that, but
getting back to Weapons, the one with that she won the Oscar for,
right?
And it's about the witchcraft.
That Amy Madigan won the Oscar.
Amy Madigan won for that, and I watched it. And I just can't get the face out of my head. It's been in my head for ever since I watched that movie. The face keeps popping up, and I have a feeling I know why. You know, she has those, shadowed, big shadowed eyes and the big red lips, and I'm realizing that she's my second grade teacher. Okay, she is actually Mrs. Lamb. Mrs. Lamb would make it an effort to always give us a big kiss. She had these big red lips, and she would kiss every kid on the way out. And we each had a red thing in our head. And it's like, you go home to my mom. It's like, we didn't come from a burlesque show.
That was say your second grade teacher was a drag queen. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying she was a drag queen, but she had a lot of lipstick. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That face haunts me. It's a very haunting movie. That's why I don't like going to watch horror films. They tend to stick with me too much.
I never liked old women with red lipstick ever.
Yeah.
And that bright red lipstick.
So that has a very kind of shining, sort of like something that would be in the hallway.
Come on, a little paint always looks good on an old barn.
I'm going to make a tattoo that says that.
Those letters and emails can go to Susan,
the poetess.
Well, you're the one who says you don't like old women with lipstick.
I don't.
No,
okay, I'm sorry. I don't like old people with lipstick. Let's not be genderist.
What about clowns?
Well, I don't like clowns. Clowns are evil. Clowns need to go. There should be a pogrom, a jihad, a culling, something. Yeah.
Sometimes, now this isn't all the time, but sometimes I think that clowns are suicidal and they're just hoping to take somebody with them. That's what.
Yeah.
No. Clowns are like comedians that can do physical comedy if they're good.
I think the definitive song about clowns is presented by Dana Gould, who does it as his Morrissey impression.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yes, and I will not use the full name because, of course, it would be four-lettered, and we will not use that kind of language in Susan's presence. It's
when you talk, if you've ever seen any interviews with Lucy Arnaz, she would describe her father as more of a comedian, but her mother as a clown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lucille Ball was a clown.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she understood that. I mean, absolutely. She did the physical humor. She understood it was a character that she was portraying.
But I mean, also for that generation, their movies were all basically physical. It was all physical humor in Chaplin all the way up, and she was kind of carrying on that tradition.
Yes.
Where once the writers got doing it, they started to put jokes into it.
You had to like Lucy. I love the Lucy and Bob Hope movies. I mean,
yes. I saw an episode of the Three Stooges with Lucille Ball.
Yes. And of course, let's not forget the Desi Arnaz Lucille Ball vehicle that was the big trailer. Come on.
That's right.
Tell me you didn't smoke dope just once in the late 70s. And thrown in the big trailer with Bill Kennedy.
Oh,
God. Don't worry, folks, the Rita Bell drop is coming a little later in the show.
I've got my Bill Kennedy t-shirt. You want me to get it for you?
Bill Kennedy was unique. Here's another film I was almost in.
Yeah. But every week he'd bring up that Joan of Arc bit that he was in.
Where he's like in the third row of the chorus. Back there lifting a flagon of grog.
Or he was about to burn Joan of Arc or something like that.
Yes, and he was in a couple of Bowery Boys movies where he had like a 5 and under, just sort of walk in front of the camera, say a few words, walk the other way, kind of thing. And
hey, those are moments you live for, man. I tell you.
Well, when you make Shemp look like Laurence Olivier, I think you have to have an understanding of where you stand in the hierarchy at that point. One would have to say, and we can always think that Bill was really certainly someone who really understood. God, who didn't love when callers would call up just to mess with him?
Yes, early on in his program, he knew a lot about old films. Like when Peter Sellers passed away, Bill Kennedy had a very nice sort of tribute, talked about him, and it was very interesting. But then later on, I was just a little kid and I'm watching, and they had that Charlie's Angels, the final one that Tanya Roberts or something like that, beautiful woman, and she had done a film and came on his show, and he was very creepy, and I was probably 12 and thought he was very creepy.
Bill Kennedy being creepy.
Bill Kennedy was so creepy to her.
Let me hold on tight when you say something like that. The room is spinning.
All right, time for some Bill.
He needed to retire before he did that creepy.
Milligan's Island hat every dime.
Time for some Bill Kennedy trivia. Are we ready to play?
Yes. Yes.
When his show moved from Channel 9 to Channel 50, they established a theme song. Name that tune.
Oh, God.
No clue.
No, not a clue.
Maybe I'm not that big a fan.
The song was Just in Time from the original Broadway musical, Bells Are Ringing.
Right.
The version that was used was a 1961 instrumental medley version by Hugo Montenegro.
Right.
And what else do I have? Bill Kennedy trivia here.
Oh, you're reading off the screen. I thought you had this memorized.
Oh, yeah. Please.
I was really concerned that you have more Bill Kennedy memorization.
So he started in Canada?
He started on Channel 9.
Remember though Channel 9 was that wild card station, because it was Canadian. I mean,
Canadian, yep.
Who even spoke Canadian, right? I know I didn't.
What Sir Graves Ghastly? What was he on?
Channel 2. Channel 2.
But that wasn't
in the afternoon.
CBS back then. That was what?
Lawson Demarest. That was his name. That was his real name. Before he became Sir Graves. God.
And which station had Soupy Sales?
Gosh,
50, Channel 50.
I think Channel 2 was CBS, and then 62 became CBS.
Why was I thinking that Channel 7 had Soupy Sales?
It might have, because ABC was spun off of it was spun off from the Mutual Network, and it was launched essentially by CBS to keep them from getting an antitrust complaint, which was building at that time, because CBS was just so dominant. NBC was, and they know they needed a third network to sort of keep them out of antitrust court. Okay. And so ABC got spun up off the Mutual Radio Network. And because there are stories like back in the day when they were shooting Dark Shadows, they had a chroma key camera. And it was like the only chroma key camera they had. So Dan Curtis was saying we had 35 minutes to film this particular episode. It was live to tape. He said, if you screw up your lines, you just keep on going, period. End of story. Because they would use this camera. They'd have some effects going in the background. Then they had to take the camera, and it had to go up to the news department because there was one chroma key camera. That was
I watched Dark Shadows. I remember that.
Yeah. One time Rickles was on with Dick Cavett. And you can clearly hear the sounds of traffic coming through the wall of the studio. And Cavett apologized. He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, Dick. No one's listening anyways."
Hey, to take us back to clowns, I think Detroit had a Bozo show, and then actual Bozo, a copycat Bozo the Clown that got sued by the real Bozo. And then they changed him to Oopsie the Clown.
Yeah.
How do you write the complaint as a lawyer complaining that your bozo is being infringed upon?
It's intellectual property.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
there's another bozo.
No, you own it. In fact, the history of clowns owning their particular style and face makeup was all registered.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Yeah. So who was that newscaster on Entertainment Tonight, the entertainment news show that had her legs insured? by Lloyd's of London.
Oh my God!
You remember?
Oh yeah.
I can't think of her name.
Hart?
I can't remember.
Was her name Hart?
Mary Hart.
Mary Hart.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember.
Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's of London. Oh,
They insured her leg.
here's
Yeah.
something. Here's something that should be of
Facto.
interest to our show. The Saturday Night Live UK version premiered Saturday night. Susan and I watched a few skits from it. We grew tired of it really quick. I guess it's
Well,
great
that's
stuff or
real.
something.
Then it's a real Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
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 No,
It was-
I remember.
The
when
Open was good, and Graham Norton came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Well, they had Tina Fey there too.
Well, I
we
think
watched
Graham
about
Norton
half.
came out really quite
Weekend
some time
Update was
ago,
good, and then
Weekend Update was good. Yeah.
and that was about how much I could stomach.
Yeah.
I'm
But
starting
if
to get the UK jokes, about their prime minister. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought those worked. I mean, about how he's not willing to commit to anything. That was a pretty cool skit. I mean,
Yeah.
even I understood. Even I understood it was their prime minister. So.
Well, I remember another member of the British intelligentsia describing Keir Starmer as he's nothing more than the last paragraph in a cell phone contract that nobody reads. And I thought, that is so British. That is so right on. That is so British. I love it. Yeah.
Very funny.
There was a running line in the monologue where Tina Fey is taking questions from the audience, and they all said, "Do your research," because she would say something. She would say something, and they would correct her, and they'd say, "Do your research." I thought that was pretty
oh, sorry. I'm terribly sorry.
Hey, on a completely different subject, Susan, how's the practice going? How's the big show?
For Carnegie?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. We finally have our rehearsal schedule, so I sent it to Mark. So Mark, you can plan if we're going to do anything on.
Yeah,
the
it looks like the way the schedule works out.
But we made a big faux pas. Didn't buy our airfare yet.
Oh
so
no!
we might be taking Greyhound to New York.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I'll
said
offer my services, but I only take 4 people at a time. So.
I said, $550 for a flight to New York. We usually pay $55. That's 10 times what we usually pay. Let's wait and see, if it come down.
A couple years ago, we flew round trip, $25, I think it was, on Spirit. Round trip.
Well,
we get these mistake fares. If you're on the lookout for them.
Yeah.
If it used to be, I would get a Yahoo alert, but Yahoo isn't. Google kind of took over for Yahoo, and the Google alerts really aren't the same because Google has their own travel agency now, so they kind of steer you towards them. So you gotta.
I mean, at $50 a seat, you're having to row the airplane most of the way there, right? I mean,
no, you're flapping. You're flapping. Rowing as if we were taking a boat there. That's the Google cruise, the Spirit cruise. The rowing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well,
and LaGuardia just had that accident. That didn't make the poem.
Yeah, doesn't help.
I woke up to that, and I've heard the ground control, and someone definitely effed up big time. You can hear the guy saying, fire truck, stop. But again, part of the problem, aside from being cleared to cross a runway that you should not have been cleared to cross. What we're gonna get from this? Nothing. Sadly.
Oh no. There's something what's gonna come from this is there's going to be on airports anyway, they're gonna start using overrides so that a driver can't drive across that if the emergency lights are on.
The thing is,
and if the emergency lights aren't, if we're going to artificial intelligence, that's the type of shit this is for.
Maybe I'd like to see.
Hey, Mark.
We'll see.
It's 8:59.
Oh, we gotta go. All right, we gotta go then. All right, that's good. Good talking to everybody. Glad you're all here. Let's get us all in one room. That's still the goal. If you'd like to contribute to getting us all in the same room, what you need to do is you need to go and you need to subscribe right there. That's the address where you subscribe. Or look, I made a shorter version of it too, so that it gets bigger on the screen. You can see it.
And you can send envelopes of money to Mark Sweetman.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't put that address up there, but here you go. You can send the articles of money to youtube.com at the
Click
office.
that
It'll
like
get to be
button.
Yeah.
Click the like button.
Click the like button. Remember, send $5 to Mark Sweetman.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kids, open up your
Kids,
parents' purses and wallets, you know.
Send us the money.
No.
We'll be back here. We'll be
Well,
back
good
here
to
next
see you
Monday.
all.
Same bet time, same bet channel. Next
Mark
Monday.
missed you guys last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was outside the wall somewhere. So
Well, someone
Okay.
called me with Sunday nights with tickets
Good
to go
night.
see the Cowboy
We'll all be
Junkies.
back.
So
All right, we're over time now. We'll all be back next week. See everybody next week, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific time. We're Greenwich time -5 everywhere else in the world. So figure it out wherever you're at.
Happy spring.
Happy spring.
happy
See everybody,
spring.
Happy
see
spring.
everybody
Thank
next
you.
week.
Have a
Bye.
good night. Good night. Doo-doo-doo.